I'm Emily Dean, and today in The Minister's Wife, we will be talking about the parent-child relationship. The parent-child relationship is one full of many, many, many blessings and many challenges, especially if God has called you to full-time ministry. However, that can also have additional blessings of being in the ministry. So I just want to encourage you to know that God, if God has called you to parenthood, that it is a divinely appointed ministry, whether God has given you children biologically through adoption, or if God has called you to be a spiritual mother to those in your ministry. It is a divinely appointed ministry that God has given you to nurture the next generation. Children are a blessing from the Lord. Children give us so many joys and so many delights. And also, they're an eternal possession. They are God's gift to us to raise and to nurture for a season, but they belong to God. Children are also a way of providing our nation's most important resource in raising up the next generation to be able to carry on in place of us. God's design is for families to strengthen each other and to encourage one another. In the Old Testament, the Hebrews took this very seriously. God gave them in Deuteronomy chapter 6, the Shema, where he says, "Listen, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. These words that I am giving you today are to be in your heart. Repeat them to your children. Talk about them when you sit in your house and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them be a symbol on your forehead. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates." So basically that says anywhere you go at all times, we should be teaching the children that God has given us. There's not a time when we really don't have opportunity. In everything that we do, we should be teaching our children and telling the next generation about the Lord and about His ways. Parenting can also bring lots of problems. There are challenges that come with parenting. There's really nothing easy about that. And the people in your ministries who are also raising children will understand that as well. And that is one way that you can connect with them. As Ruth Graham was quoted in the book, Don't Miss the Blessing, Joanne Lovell pointed out that she said, if you have children, you have problems. There are challenges because children are free moral agents. They make their own choices. They are a gift from God for us to raise and to nurture, but again, they belong to the Lord and they have the ability to make their own choices. So don't stress about raising perfect children. Raise them to love the Lord. Focus on what you feel like you should do in teaching them to follow God's ways, rather than being concerned about appearances and what your church ministry might think about your children. The important thing is that you focus on teaching them what it means to follow Christ and to be a Christian, rather than to focus on what others might think. And that will free you up to focus on what God wants you to do in parenting and the vision that He has given you and called you to in your parenting. Parenting comes with it a high cost, financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It does take a lot of investment. It takes a lot of time. Life gets busy, but at the same time, we need to remember that our children are a priority. There have been seasons where I had to be less involved in the ministry, still faithfully involved, but I wasn't able to do quite as much just because of the nature of where our family was at with having small children and the demands that involves. So you need to make sure that you let the ladies in your ministry see that your children are priority and that you put them first over and above your ministry, because next to your husband, they are your greatest gift and priority. There are so many lessons that you can learn from your children. Be a student of your children. Learn from them. God can teach you so many lessons about Himself just by raising your children. And so be open and available and teachable to what God wants to say to you through the journey of parenting. It can be challenging, but it is a huge blessing if you allow God to teach you and to grow you as you walk through the journey and the gift of parenting.